Namaste, Dandava Pranam. By the instruction and grace of our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj, we are here reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And also we're paying our most humble obeisances to His Divine Grace, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, for giving us this wonderful commentary and translation of Bhagavatam. Also, following the guidance of His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, we are praying to Srimati Radharani. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati told us that unless we can understand something about Srimati Radharani through our reading of Bhagavatam, if we cannot do that, then we haven't read properly. So in this way, we are praying to Radharani for her grace. Yadi seva vanchitasyama yasi kripaya vayam labema sarvam prapnuma prayojanam dhamni Shri Bhagavat Pade Krishna sambandhi sarvam cha yadi na jani mahe tutam Ashtadashasu sahasreshu shlokanam bhagavadotishu radharanimna vindamatada nishphalam bhagavat adhyayanam radhikaya kripam vina vyartasyat sarva parishrama. If we are cheated out of serving that personality whose mercy awards us everything we need, including residence in the Lord's holy Dham, and all things connected to Krishna, and if we cannot understand or discover Radharani within the 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, then our study of Srimad Bhagavatam has been pointless. Without the mercy of Srimati Radharani, all our efforts are in vain. Hare Krishna. So, we are now continuing our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam from Canto 4, The Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 27, Attack by Caṇḍavega on the city of King Purañjana, the character of Kālakanyā. Text 12. Yuktesh vevam pramatasya kutumba shakta chetasa asha sadha sabhai kalo Yo priya priya yoshitam. Thus King Purañjana, being attached to fruitive activities, karma kandya, as well as kith and kin, and being obsessed with polluted consciousness, eventually arrived at that point not very much liked by those who are overly attached to material things. Purport. In this verse, the words priya yoshitam and apriya are very significant. The word yoshit means woman, and priya means dear or pleasing. Death is not very much welcome for those who are too much attached to material enjoyment, which culminates in sex. There is an instructive story on this connection. Once, when a saintly person was passing on his way, he met a prince, the son of a king, and he blessed him, saying, "My dear prince, may you live forever." The sage met a saintly person and said to him, "You may either live or die." Eventually the sage met a brahmachari devotee, and he blessed him, saying, "My dear devotee, you may die immediately." Finally, the sage met a hunter, and he blessed him, saying, "Neither live nor die." The point is that those who are very sensual and are engaged in sense gratification do not wish to die. Generally, a prince has enough money to enjoy his senses, therefore the great sage said that he should live forever. For as long as he lived, he could enjoy life, but after his death he would go to hell. Since the brahmachari devotee was leading a life of severe austerities and penances, in order to be promoted back to Godhead, the sage said that he would die immediately so that he need not continue to labor hard and could instead go back home, back to Godhead. A saintly person may either live or die, for during his life he is engaged in serving the Lord, and after his death he also serves the Lord. Thus, this life and the next are the same for a saintly devotee, for in both he serves the Lord. Since the hunter lives a very ghastly life due to killing animals, and since he will go to hell when he dies, he is advised neither live nor die. King Purañjana finally arrived at the point of old age. In old age, the senses lose their strength, and although an old man desires to enjoy his senses, and especially sex life, he is very miserable because his instruments of enjoyment no longer function. Such sensualists are never prepared for death. They simply want to live on and extend their life by so-called scientific advancement. Some foolish Russian scientists also claim that they are going to make man immortal through scientific advancement. Under the leadership of such crazy fellows, civilization is going on. Cruel death, however, comes and takes all of them away, despite their desire to live forever. This type of mentality was exhibited by Hiranyakashipu, but when the time was ripe, the Lord personally killed him within a second. Dandavat Pranam Madhu Gopal Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Text 13. Caṇḍavega iti kyato Gandharvadhi patirnripa Gandharvastasya balina Shastutara satatrayam. O king, in Gandharva Loka there is a king named Caṇḍavega. Under him there are 360 very powerful Gandharva soldiers. Purport. Time is figuratively described here as Caṇḍavega. Since time and tide wait for no man, time is herein called Caṇḍavega, which means very swiftly passing away. As time passes, it is calculated in terms of years. 1 year contains 360 days, and the soldiers of Caṇḍavega herein mentioned represent these days. Time passes swiftly. Caṇḍavega's powerful soldiers of Gandharva Loka very swiftly carry away all the days of our life. As the sun rises and sets, it snatches away the balance of our lifespan. Thus, as each day passes, each one of us loses some of life's duration. It is therefore said that the duration of one's life cannot be saved, but if one is engaged in devotional service, this time cannot be taken away by the sun. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.17, Ayor harati vaipumsam udyan astam chayanaso. The conclusion is that if one wants to make himself immortal, he should give up sense gratification. By engaging oneself in devotional service, one can gradually enter into the eternal kingdom of God. Mirages and other illusory things are sometimes called Gandharvas. Our losing our lifespan is taken as advancement of age. This imperceptible passing away of the days of life is figuratively referred to in this verse as Gandharvas. As explained in the later verses, such Gandharvas are both male and female. This indicates that both men and women lose their lifespan imperceptibly by the force of time, which is herein described as Caṇḍavega. Text 14. Gandharvyas tadrishir asya Maitunyas cha shita sita Parivritya vilumpanti Sarvakama vinirmitam. Along with the Caṇḍavega were as many female Gandharvis as there were soldiers, and all of them repetitively plundered all the paraphernalia for sense enjoyment. Purport. The days have been compared to the soldiers of Caṇḍavega. Night is generally a time for sex enjoyment. Days are considered to be white and nights are considered to be black. From another point of view, there are two kinds of nights, black nights and white nights. All these days and nights combine to pass away our span of life and everything we manufacture for sense gratification. Material activity means manufacturing things for sense gratification. Scientists are conducting research to find out how we can satisfy our senses more and more elaborately. In this Kali Yuga, the demoniac mentality is employed in manufacturing various machines to facilitate the process of sense gratification. There are so many machines for ordinary household activities. There are machines for washing dishes, cleansing the floor, shaving, clipping hair. Today, everything is done by a machine. All these facilities for sense gratification are described in this verse as sarva kami vinirmitam. The time factor, however, is so strong that not only is our span of life being expended, but all the machines and facilities for sense gratification are deteriorating. Therefore, in this verse, the word vilumpanti, plundering, is used. Everything is being plundered from the very beginning of our lives. This plundering of possessions and lifespan begins with the day of our birth. One day will come when death will finish everything, and the living entity will have to enter another body to begin another chapter of life, and again begin the cycle of material sense gratification. Prahlad Maharaj describes this process as puna punas charvita charvananam, Bhagavatam 7.5.30. Materialistic life means chewing the chewed again and again. The central point of material life is sense gratification. In different types of bodies, the living entity enjoys various senses, and through creating various types of facilities, he chews the chewed. Whether we squeeze sugar out of the sugarcane with our teeth or a machine, the result is the same, sugarcane juice. We may discover many ways to squeeze the juice out of the sugarcane, but the result is the same. Text 15. Te Caṇḍavega nuchara Purañjana Purañjana Hartum are bire tatra Pratyasedhat prajagara. When King Gandharva Raja, Caṇḍavega, and his followers began to plunder the city of Purañjana, a snake with 5 hoods began to defend the city. Purport. When one is sleeping, the life air remains active in different dreams. The 5 hoods of the snake indicate that the life air is surrounded by 5 kinds of air, known as prana, apana, vyana, udana, and samana. When the body is inactive, the prana, or life air, is active. Up to the age of 51, can actively work for one can act for sense gratification, but after the 50th year, one's energy decreases, although one can, with great strain, work for 2 or 3 more years, perhaps up to the 55th year. Thus, the 55th year is generally taken by government regulations as the final year for retirement. The energy which is fatigued after 50 years is figuratively described herein as a serpent with 5 hoods. Text 16. Sashaptabi shatir eko vimshatya cha satam sama Purañjana puradyaksho Gandharvar yudhe bali. The 5-hooded serpent is the superintendent and protector of the city of King Purañjana. Fought with the Gandharvas for 100 years. He fought alone with all of them, although they numbered 720. Purport. The 360 days and 360 nights combine to become the 720 soldiers of Caṇḍavega, time. One has to fight these soldiers throughout one's lifespan, beginning with birth and ending with death. This fight is called the struggle for existence. Despite this struggle, however, the living entity does not die. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 2.20, the living entity is eternal. Najayate mriyate vakadachin nayam bhutva bhavita vanabhuyaha Ajo nitya shasvato yam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. For the soul there is never birth or death, nor having once been, does ever a soul cease to be. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, undying, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Actually, the living entity does not take birth, nor does he die, but he has to fight with the stringent laws of material nature throughout the entire span of his lifetime. He must also face different kinds of miserable conditions. Despite all this, the living entity, due to illusion, thinks that he is well situated in sense gratification. Text 17. Kshiyamane svasambandhe ikshamin bahu bhiryudha chintam param jagamarta sarashtrita pura bandhava. Because he had to fight alone with so many soldiers, all of whom were great warriors, the serpent with 5 hoods became very weak. Seeing that his most intimate friend was weakening, King Purañjana and his friends and citizens living within the city all became very anxious. Purport. The living entity resides within the body and struggles for existence with the limbs of the body, which are referred to here as citizens and friends. One can struggle alone with many soldiers for some time, but not for all time. The living entity within the body can struggle up to the limit of 100 years with good luck, but after that it is not possible to prolong the struggle. Thus the living entity submits and falls victim. In this regard, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has sung, Vridha Kala Ola Shabha Shuka Bhagala. When one becomes old, it becomes impossible to enjoy material happiness. Generally, people think that religion and piety come at the end of life, and at this time, one generally becomes meditative and takes to some so-called yogic process to relax in the name of meditation. Meditation, however, is simply a farce for those who have enjoyed life in sense gratification. As described in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, meditation, dhyana or dharana, is a difficult subject matter that one has to learn from his very youth. To meditate, one must restrain himself from all kinds of sense gratification. Unfortunately, meditation has now become a fashion for those who are overly addicted to sensual things. Such meditation is defeated by the struggle for existence. Sometimes such meditative processes pass for transcendental meditation. King Purañjana, the living entity, being thus victimized by the hard struggle for existence, took to transcendental meditation with his friends and relatives. And thus ends our reading for today. We will continue from text 18 on Monday. Before we finish, were there any comments or questions or contributions from the assembled devotees? Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Guru Dev, Srila Acharya Dev Ki Jai. Jai Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the worldwide devotees, Sama Bhaktiveda Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ju Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Giri Govardhan Gupta Govardhan Dham Ki Jai, Shyam Kund Radha Kund Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi, Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Jai Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Jai Scientific Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Jai Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Princeton Bhakti Vedanta Institute Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari 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 Bo. Jai Srimati Uma Devi Dasi Ki Jai. Jai Purushottam Prabhu Ki Jai. Jai Madhu Gopal Das Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Jai Gurudev.
Krishna Keshav Prabhu Ji ki jai.
Jai Gurudev. My humble Dandavats. Hare Krishna. This Sunday is Srila Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj's Tirobhav Mahotsav. So we're also remembering our dear Gurudev. Hare Krishna.